And we are live. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 1260. Today is Wednesday, December 4th, 2024, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. Today's top story is slow cycle. Martial law causes Bitcoin to crash to 65K in South Korea. Here's why. Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin. Here's what you need to know before launch. And Alex Mashinsky's to plead guilty to 2 charges in plea deal. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices on the day. Woo, we got some interesting ones too. A couple have made some meteoric pumps overnight. Bitcoin's coming in at $96,161, up 0.63%. Ethereum just crossed just now, like literally 5 minutes ago, $3,800. At up 6.14%. Ripple at number 3 at $2.57, up 2%. Number 5, BNB, $770. Man, we're back to these old school prices, up 19.9%. We got Solana at number 6 at $234, up 4.13%. Dogecoin at 7, up 1.48% at 41 cents. Cardano at 8, $1.20, down 0.06. And the largest gain, I think, of yesterday is Tron TRX at 35 cents, up 47.33% on the day and 74.78% on the week so far. Fear and Greed Index is at an 80. Bitcoin dominance continues to slip, actually, as the altcoins take off. Bitcoin dominance is at a 53.5. Ethereum dominance is maintaining steady. As I said, those altcoins are taking off, so you expect to see that at a 12.78%. We might have a couple more weeks of this before we see all this flow back into Bitcoin. But right now, altcoins are having their field day. So shout out to them and those people making those gains on those altcoins. It's a great year for crypto right now. And really quickly, before we get this show all the way on the road, let me go ahead and give some quick shout outs to the chat. What up, though, Warriors? Welcome back, everybody. And thanks for joining. Today is a short show. Not too much going on, as I think we wait for this next price move where we're going to stay here going sideways in the 90s. Are we going to dip even further? Or will we pump up past 100K the next few days? That's what everyone wants to know. Alapio, what up, though? BK Crypto, 11 Super Mario, Satoshi Slim, Kevin Cummings, Chloe Dior, Les Square, Wisdom Bars, JB, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Jerome Jones, what up, though? Let's go ahead and get this show rolling. Like I said, not too much going on. Right now, martial law has caused Bitcoin to crash to 65K in South Korea. We saw a little bit of a pullback late last night, early this morning in the space. But as we just saw with the prices today, I mean, not much has happened, but some sideways movement. We're still at $96,000. But they got to have content, right? These websites, these news stories, you have to have content. So any type of slippage you have to report on. And I think that's really what we're seeing right now. Just something to blame. Like, they're looking for anything to blame it on, not going over 100K every day right now. But of course, listen, technically, if we didn't see another pump for another 4 to 6 months, we just got a bull run just now. I mean, technically, and we're still in it as we go sideways. So it doesn't always go up. Sometimes, the market needs to recover and needs to retrace. But one analyst said South Korea's limiting of the market to a few players helped cause a sudden decrease in liquidity. That's right, the disappearance of key market players and a liquidity crisis contributed to a $30,000 drop in Bitcoin prices on South Korean platforms after President Yoon Suk Yeol's declaration of martial law. On December 3rd, Yoon imposed martial law during a live television address, citing a need to eliminate anti-state elements and address threats posed by North Korea's communist forces. I love it. We can't beat North Korea. We can't do nothing with them. So we're going to give our own citizens martial law to address those threats. The declaration triggered immediate market disruptions, with Bitcoin on the South Korean exchange Upbit dropping to as low as 92 million won, about $65,000. And at those prices, you better believe there are some arbitrage plays going across here in the market where people are essentially buying Bitcoin over there and probably selling it over here within last night today. You can see those candles and that dip going down right there and everything and all the madness. One analyst attributed the sharp decline to a sudden disappearance of liquidity. According to trader LTRD, the lack of active participants caused an imbalance between bids and acts, resulting in a 10% spread during a crisis. And that's where you see some of this drop happen. Now, in the X thread, trader later LTRD said the drop would not be this brutal if liquidity was normal. Still, they said that during the martial law declaration, all the players just disappeared from the market. They wrote the reason is simple. It is shockingly hard to enter the Korean market and trade out there. This means that only a few players can provide liquidity and arbitrage those discrepancies. Well, pardon me on the arbitrage play. I guess it's not happening since it's hard to get involved in the market. But what's important about this article? I mean, clearly we haven't felt this pressure in the United States. You know, maybe a couple thousand dollars off the price of Bitcoin, a few percentage points. But by and large, to me, this is highlighting how fragile the ecosystem is at this moment, right? Not to say that something can go wrong in Bitcoin, the project's done. Like, no, I'm not saying that, but it's fragile as far as trading goes, as far as trying to get to this psychological $100,000 mark. Like, it's super fragile. People are on edge. And the reason why is because everyone's in profit for the most part, right? So, or everyone who started trading is in profit. So, you got to think of it on a broad scale. Like, if these players are in profit already, and you're talking about martial law and possibly stopping banks or crypto deposits and withdrawals, like that would make someone with enough Bitcoin and crypto pause them draws and say, you know what, I am going to pull my money. I'm going to pull my portfolio out. I'm going to put it in stable coins. I'm going to take it off these main platforms. I'm going to put it to the side. So I'm looking at that also here in the US, and then like as a global view, like, yeah, we are in a time right now where Bitcoin is pumping, things are going great. But I think any little thing could cause a dip, because when you have this high amount of greed going on, not a lot of healthy fear going on, people are excited, exuberant. Ripple's going back up to his all-time high. Some say we just got Tron there. Like, we're seeing all these coins pump. There's so much excitement going on. These are the moments where something can go wrong. And once one thing goes wrong, there's usually not going to be that many people holding on saying, I believe in this project and everything's going to work out. We're just going through a retracement. Like, that's not going to be it. Usually people are going to start losing money. I know people who sold out of everything years ago when the market dipped, and, you know, they plan to re-enter and everything, but they're just like, no, I'm a trader, man. I sell out when it's time to sell, and I get back in when it's time to get in. So that is one of those things I think we can see across the market, even here in the US, happen. If any little thing causes people confidence to drop, or the price to have some major slippage, you know, 10 to 15%, expect a bigger dip as more people get scared away from the market. That's my thoughts on it. So we'll continue to monitor it. They were calling it a kimchi, of course, discount, as they always do. Kind of interesting choice of wordplay, but they're calling it a kimchi discount this morning to get on that Bitcoin. Again, that's only if you have those arbitrage plays already in place. But I don't think it's really going to be a big kimchi discount outside this small little bit of arbitrage. Unless we see other markets also slip, then I think we'll be fine. Especially this one is slipping specifically because of the martial law, they're saying, right? So that's one of those black swan events we didn't expect or to see martial law happen. Same as COVID. If you remember a few years ago, Bitcoin was $3,000 during 2021 COVID, when COVID first started. So all it takes is a little bit of social unrest or something to go wrong in the real world, and we can see that reflect in volatility when it comes to the USD price of Bitcoin. So be on the lookout. You never know what can happen. Right now in the US, it looks as though we're going to have a smooth changeover from presidents from one to the next, and we've already had this old presidential administration back in. So again, I don't see major bumps in the road, but all it takes is for the outgoing president to say something crazy or do something crazy, or the incoming president to say or do something crazy, and boom, you have volatility created from the fundamental volatility created from just social causes, essentially. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And these are the things that give you that Bitcoin discount you always got to be ready for, regardless of what country you're in. If you wake up and it's a 15-20% discount on Bitcoin, well, the project's still projecting. It's time to jump into it. All right, what else do we have? Ripple is in the news. Now, listen, Ripple said, pump it. They are putting all their money toward the media right now. And this is something we've seen in this space time and time again. And it's something I talked about oftentimes. This is where it's like, I'm not saying Ripple's going like this direction, but it kind of like, I hate the feeling where as soon as the bull cycle starts, all of a sudden all the upgrades are there and the announcements. Like I'm looking at you, Cardano. When in reality is like, okay, why when the market was dipping and it was going sideways and it was a bear market, like why weren't these projects still pushing out headlines and news? Instead, whether it's real maturation on these projects or if it's just a enhanced and unique marketing strategy where they're saying, you know what, whether these are real actual advances and goals we're meeting on our roadmap, or if this is just something to pump our price. You always see it when the bull cycle starts. All of a sudden, projects are doing all God's work, right? So to me, it's like we've seen XRP in the news nonstop, and they're going to make sure they stay in it for like the third or fourth day straight. They're back with more news. They want to make sure they stay in the news, stay on the top of everyone's mind. And this is one of those things I think that will have people talking as far as, did you hear about Ripple stablecoin though? The project gonna do this XYZ next. Like you got to invest in it. So the timing is perfect. But once RLUSD is available, Ripple plans to use both RLUSD and XRP in this cross-border payment solution. Now, my first thought off the headline, my initial thought is that it's over with, folks. The party might be over. And what I mean is this to me, like for one, Ripple is technically already a stable coin, essentially. Like it's already like it already has the mechanisms of what you will find in a stable coin. You'll find that in XRP. Again, this is why the last few days, I've been saying, like, some people have been on social media screaming Ripple's not a crypto. You remember I've been saying that? So if you really want to break down the network, the platform, XRP as a whole, some people might argue like, yo, it's already a stable coin. And I bring up that point to say this to me is Ripple creating a derivative of itself. And you have to ask yourself, why is it doing that? Why are you creating a derivative of yourself? Now, of course, on the surface, you might be able to double your capital, right? If you already have your crypto or your token, then you also say you're going to do a stable coin, you get more people signed up, poof, more money out of thin air. So not mad at them for trying it, but as far as like use cases stuff, I'm just not seeing why we would use. I won't say I don't see it. Of course, the stable coin is supposed to be one-to-one with a dollar. We've seen that time and time again not be the case here in this space. Once the market goes haywire and goes crazy volatility, we've seen those stable coins go off. And even we've seen where stable coins mess up the market, where it's like you're supposed to be one-to-one. Something happens on your network of liquidity. All of a sudden, you're dropping. People start selling out of that stable coin. It starts to affect the market as a whole. So I don't know. My initial thoughts were just, I don't know. I don't understand the play. Again, I kind of get it as far as capital, poof, money out of thin air. But as far as the project itself, I don't know. Do we need another stable coin? You all let me know in the comments what you think about it, because I know some of you all are more well read on this than me. But Ripple is preparing to launch its US dollar peg stable coin, Ripple USD. The cryptocurrency community highly anticipates the launch, which is expected on December 4th. Today, according to Fox Business, Ripple is expected to launch RLUSD on December 4th, following approval by the New York Department of Financial Services. The blockchain firm has cautioned against tokens claiming to be RLUSD or Ripple USD until an official announcement confirms the launch. Preview listings of RLUSD have already appeared on major crypto data providers, including CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. I didn't see it, but I'm going to actually pull it up right now. It looks like RLUSD will initially launch on Ripple's XRPL and Ethereum. This was introduced in June. RLUSD is a one-to-one US dollar-backed stablecoin, 100% backed by US dollar deposits, short-term US government treasuries, and other cash equivalents. Since early August, the RLUSD stablecoin has been in beta testing on Ripple's decentralized public blockchain platform, the XRP ledger, and the Ethereum mainnet. Ripple said it plans to expand the RLUSD to additional blockchains and decentralized finance protocols over time. So again, shout out to Ripple, shout out to the RLUSD. This is the part I clearly need to read, as it says it will complement each other. They're like, hey, for all the kings out there on their show tomorrow, you keep reading the article, boy. All right, I'm reading. I'm going to keep reading. I hope y'all tell me something interesting. Once RLUSD is available, Ripple plans to use both RLUSD and XRP in its cross-border payment solution to serve its global customers, the company said in RLUSD's beta testing announcement. In June, President Monica Long, Ripple's president, said that RLUSD was built to be complementary and additive. Am I saying that right? Additive to XRP. One thing I want to say really clear, I really feel like this is almost a sponsored article. And the reason why is the amount of times they're saying RLUSD, people. Like, don't get me started. How many times have I pointed out to you, and this is the case? This is what the article when CBDCs first came out was mentioned, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure I coined in the show earlier before the article came out on Cointelegraph. But after we talked about it in the show and coined it CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, which I am pretty sure I helped coin, then the article came out, and it literally in 10 times one article, they kept mentioning CBDCs. It was the first time an article ever came out mentioning CBDCs, and they mentioned it 10 times over again. So as a writer, I forayed into writing a little bit. I know about editing and about content on platforms like these. You don't mention the same word 10 times over again. It's just like lazy writing type of deal where it's like you couldn't figure out another way to say it or another way to explain what you're saying. You just kept repeating the word every other sentence. That is poor writing unless it is a sales letter, unless it's intentional. And this is how it's reading to me as I read out loud to you. Why am I saying RLUSD 10 times over again in one article? Unless they want you to get that all the way through your thick skulls that this is the future. Seems like a sponsor article Cointelegraph forgot to put at the top. But whatever. They're saying that, hey, this is going to be paired with each other. There's going to work in conjunction. XR. Okay, now that's fair. I will say that's fair. That will be a difference. But see, this is why I say they're kind of making themselves a derivative of their own project. It says at the end, while XRP will help add liquidity to RLUSD with its significant availability on exchanges, the stablecoin's price will also be stabilized by pairing to prevent depegging. So to me, this is telling me they're valuing RLUSD higher than they are XRP if they're going to use their XRP to add liquidity to the RLUSD, which, by the way, I want to point out, this is how the dips start. This is how the BS starts. This is the same thing. I'm bringing them up. Terra Luna, when they started doing their algorithmic Bitcoin trading or excuse me, algorithmic token and all this other stuff, they add all these buzzwords to it. Before you knew it, they were buying Bitcoin with it, and they were saying, hey, we're going to use the Bitcoin reserve and all this other stuff to pump up the algorithmic coin and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is that to me. So you create XRP out of thin air, and then you're going to use the XRP to back your RLUSD play. Bravo, man. Like, I'm not mad. If the government can do it, why can't individual citizens? Bravo. Create a crypto out of thin air. Use said crypto to back a stable coin you're saying is going to be one-to-one with the US dollar, which, by the way, we're printing that like crazy as well. This is a catastrophe if I've ever seen one ready to happen. I said it right the first time. I know you all like that, but seriously, this is a catastrophe way to happen. We've seen it. I literally called it when Terra Luna was doing it. You all was like, nah, they ain't doing it. And then like 3 weeks later, the market dips based off of their poor plays. Like, this is that, people. And remember, I am reading these articles live with you. I haven't scrolled down before now. This is me seeing this information for the first time. And my first thoughts to this information is this is going to be one of the setups to the end. And let me be clear, it's not going to just be RL, USD, and Ripple's fault. No. It's going to be a combination of things. It's going to be the Bitcoin ETFs and ETF options. It's going to be XRP boosting up RLUSD, right? It's going to be Cardano going to number 6 or 5. Like, it's going to be all these things happening at one time that don't make actual sense from a tech point of view. That will cause the market to eventually dip and crash. But until then, let's ride this mofo off. I think we can still get to a solid 115, 120 to 140K before we see that dip. But I am telling you now, do not be surprised when we get the news stories and headlines of, oh my God, this is going wrong. And it's like, you use something fake to pump up something fake. Like, of course it's going to go wrong. But until it does go wrong, let's let the wheels ride off on this thing. Okay, I can't wait to see what happens next. Ripple says we want in, and they're going to get in. Let's not even forget if they get a XRP ETF or any type of actual traditional derivative. I mean, they'll be able to essentially add that to the balance sheet for liquidity as well. Like, and this is that house of cards that we saw when I talk about the monster on Jekyll Island, how the Federal Reserve was created, and we just talked about this. How you have this sheet, this blank, this blank accounting sheet, and they say, hey, we're going to print money, and we're going to say it's an asset, and we're going to loan out that same money and cause people to go in debt off this fake money we made. We're going to loan it out and tell people it's enforced, and we're going to put a 30% tax on it, or whatever, a yearly whatever on it that people owe back to you. Interest rate, excuse me. We're gonna put 30% interest on it, and we're just gonna roll it out like this. Like, this is the same thing happening right now, where they're saying, hey, we got cryptos, we're going to put this as a debt and as an asset, and we're going to create another product off of it. So again, this is crazy to see. I'm happy to see them launching this as everyone else. Why not Ripple get in the market? But again, I think this is going to be very interesting how it turns out. RLUSD will be more focused on large institutional players. It makes sense. That goes along with what their business is primarily doing. That's going after institutions, businesses, and governments. According to Ripple Labs CEO Brad Garlinghouse, RLUSD will focus more on large institutional players. Quote, we think there's an opportunity for another player in the stablecoin market to exist that focuses on institutions, focuses on compliance, Garlinghouse said in a conversation with Token Relations co-founder Jacqueline Melanik, recorded in September 2024. I would say I actually agree with him in that sense that, yeah, there is enough room in the market for another stablecoin play. And if Ripple can put that package together, regardless of how goofy it's going to be, as far as it being like, yeah, we're going to use XRP to back it, like regardless of all of that, if they can put a package together and it gets accepted, and or it has been accepted, and people start using RLUSD, then that's what it is. Why not compete with the which one does Circle have? You got, it was the Winklevoss twins. One of them had like True USD. One of them has I can't even think of them all. I can't think about stablecoins on the top of my head at 7:30 in the morning, but you get my point, right? The competition is there. I think, why not Ripple? Especially when you have other wealth, financial companies, wealth management companies jumping into the stablecoin space. Why not a crypto OG, or somewhat of a crypto OG, right? So I'm all for the move. Why not? But I do say that this type of derivative in the market is going to end up jacking us up a little bit. They're backing up their stablecoin with XRP. You got to love it. Yeah, PayPal USD. I don't believe in that one either. Yeah, so it's a few different ones. Chloe Dior. I don't know where this one came from, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Chloe said, "Watch out for that synthetic weed y'all smoking." Hyben17 said, "For any new people watching, question: will anyone go to jail behind this?" The question is always, or the answer is no. RLUSD shakes that tree. Let's see what else we got going on. Okay, there we go. Power of 9. Thank you. Power of 9 said, you saved me from the Luna downfall about 2 months before it happened. Look, all I'm saying is, like, you can ride this out for as long as you want, people. I definitely see the money plays in it, but just understand it doesn't make sense. All right. I just want to be fair on that. Like, just because you're getting the money don't mean it makes sense. All right. And that's all I try to say on this show when I talk about the altcoins and all this other stuff. I'm still Bitcoin first. I've always been Bitcoin first. Altcoins, I do see the power of them when it comes, of course, to the capital you can get back from it, the USD to buy Bitcoin. But also, I look at altcoins almost like different apps, right? Like Bitcoin's the iPhone, if you will. Altcoins are the apps that you can put on it. Like, I do think there are some decent altcoins. If the projects continue on to what they're supposed to do, we can have some interesting things come from altcoins, like that can enhance Bitcoin or enhance our experience in this cryptocurrency space. But by and large, that isn't the case. But I'm always for it. I'm always for something new. I hope something new works. It's just oftentimes we haven't seen it. Power 9 said governments should regulate stablecoins and leave the rest of the crypto and DeFi alone to let the competition choose the winners and losers. No tax on crypto, only on USD or stablecoins. I agree with that, actually. And I think XRP and Ripple would agree with that, which is probably why they're coming out like, no, our stablecoin is going to be for institutions. Like, we're going to say it off the bat so there's no issues and people aren't, their stablecoin did this to me or did that to me. And to be real, it makes sense with the marketing plan, right? Like, if you can get institutional players to believe in your stablecoin, what is once being right now backed by XRP or crypto, which you could say is nothing essentially, would soon be backed by real assets, right? Maybe it'll be backed by a percentage of a company. Maybe it'll be backed by, like I said, equity here, board seat here, stock there, capital here. But now, like, you get a 2 or 3 institutional players to say, whatever, we'll use it. Oh, we're good. We don't need that much capital and liquidity of our own to back it anymore. So I think it's good to see for Ripple. I mean, Saber Save said, what about a peer-to-peer electronic cash system? Strictly cash. I mean, you kind of already have a peer. Oh, electronic. I was about to say, I was thinking Hawala. My first thing, Hawala, I thought of. I was like, you got a peer-to-peer cash system, Hawala, but a peer-to-peer electronic one. I don't see that. I get what you're really saying. I don't see that happening in like its purest form, because that's why you have banks right now, and that would just literally undercut their business. I don't think they're going to allow that to happen at all. Let's see. XRP, get out now. No, it's still some money. It's money to be made, but it's just, I think it's gonna be one of those things where low key, you might be able to damn near double Ripple right now before anything happens. It's just gonna be one of those things where once, I will say if, because during this bull cycle, if they can pump that chest, that war chest, that liquidity for RLUSD and make it real, because, and it's not just them, let me be fair, a lot of like these stable coins and projects who have backings, and like, if you really look at what's backing and what's the liquidity, like one of them might have an art piece in it, right? One of them might have a Mona Lisa in a liquidity pool, and it's like, bro, you're going to sell the Mona Lisa and get the capital in time for your customers to be happy. Like, so don't get me started on that. But all they need is just to last long enough until they get the real liquidity in it. Because if they can last long enough to get more Bitcoin in it and make plays, whether you're going to keep it as a Bitcoin reserve or trade some of that Bitcoin for precious metals or whatever, but if they can make enough plays to really have that liquidity high, then it won't even matter. I think they'll be like MicroStrategy, where it's like, hey, unless we're seeing an $18,000 Bitcoin, RLUSD is good to go. Now we see $18,000 Bitcoin. Now we got another conversation. So I think it's going to go down like that. I think in the short term, they'll be good to go. One thing I'll give to Ripple, I'll be real. Business acumen. From a business point of view. And I think that's one of the reasons why, as the project, I've never been like super fond of the project. Again, it's not them necessarily. It's just the need that they're feeling. Even right now, when you talk about Ripple stablecoin, it's like, I understand why it took you to 2024 to do it, right? You guys been under the thumb of the government these last few years, but it's also 2024. Like, countries are starting to develop their own stable coins and country coins and things like this. So it's like you're kind of starting to do it when that's not the thing for private companies to be doing anymore. So I feel like they are getting a late start. But to be fair, when you look at all of Ripple's business moves, bravo, right? Like, they've done the right moves as far as business go. Like, I'm gonna keep it real, that we could actually do a whole series on Ripple and XRP's moves as a business since their inception. It's been great. They started off going out to businesses, going B2B, or going out to countries, B2C, not business to consumers, but business to countries, right? So they started off doing that, which I can appreciate. We're only going to go after large players, bigger capital amounts, things of that such. And that got them into the conversation with governments and big businesses. So I think from the beginning, they already did right by going after a specific customer base that they knew would keep them alive no matter what, and that worked. Then they made a decision to fight the government back early on. Remember that they started fighting years ago when it wasn't cool, right? They were by themselves fighting the United States government. So to me, that was a great business decision. They saw it. And now they're saying, hey, it's time to do the derivatives play, baby. We about to do these XRP ETFs, right? We're going to do XRP or RLUSD or whatever. Like, it's time to make derivatives so we're everlasting, because once those derivatives start happening, oh, it's too late to keep up. Who cares about the price? That thing can go to the 50 cent, 10 cent, 0.00, whatever it used to be. As long as they got these derivative products, they'll be making money on the traditional side. And that's, as long as they're making money, they're happy, right? They're not here to say we're going to change the technology game and change the way you do everything. They're saying we're streamlining payments. We're making, we're making this stuff faster. Yeah, you can use Bitcoin, but if you want to do it in an enterprise level where we hook it up for you and your company, you want to choose us. I mean, so far, so good. Can't be mad at how they're actually moving their business. Have I ever streamed on Rumble? They're another company backing themselves with Bitcoin. Yeah, I covered the Rumble story a week or two ago. I have not streamed on there, but I'll check it out. I know people were talking about that. What else we have? I just don't think XRP is going to do these crazy numbers, but Ripple as a company will be the unicorn, says Enzo. I agree. But again, they're all using, so every facet is going to be used to pump each other up, right? So RLUSD will be used to pump XRP essentially. Like they're going to figure out a way. XRP is already being used to pump RLUSD. See what I'm saying? If they were to get an option ETF or whatever, or just a regular ETF, not even an option, that will be used to pump it as well. So I say that to say, I think XRP, I mean, what do we consider crazy numbers? Right? If it gets to $5, technically that's a crazy number, right? Double the market cap. If it gets to $10, that's a real crazy number. But to answer that, I do think they'll eventually do crazy numbers. And the reason why is because the company, like I just said, that smart business acumen, they're not going to like, XRP is just as part of the storyline as everything else. And they don't want that part of the storyline to look bad because it will affect everything else, especially if you're talking about an ETF play. So no, I think they will do crazy numbers actually, primarily because of the business they have behind, the team they have behind it. And then also it's going to make sense. And what I mean is, as soon as RLUSD, they get a few contracts on that, oh, you better believe they're making side deals to say, look, 3 to 5% of this capital has to go back to XRP. We just, at least for 6 months. It's the way we do our tokenomics, our metrics. 3 to 5% of every stablecoin deal, bring it back to X. Like they're going to do something to continue to pump that, because to me, that pumps everything across the board that they're doing. The stablecoin play, the ETF play, you have to have the underlying token looking good while these plays are happening. So I would say, do I think it's going to last for forever? No. But do I think they'll get a crazy pump again, crazy numbers? I mean, they're free of the government, people. There's no place up but to go. It's literally no place up but to go. So we'll see. Do you think XRP hits its all-time high at 384 before it completely tanks? Just curious. I'm not holding any. No, like I said, I think it'll go back to 5. It's just really about when and how. The question is, will it go back to 5 before Bitcoin hits 140K? I don't know, to be honest. I don't think so. But unless I mean, I don't want to say I don't think so. Then Bitcoin's at like 132 and it doesn't. You guys are like, hey, you just said it wasn't before 140. I'm like, it's at 132. I meant it was gonna do when we get some more equity in Bitcoin pumping. But so I would say this. I don't know exactly when or how, but I do think it's going to continue to pump. It's in a good place, people. And you have to remember, there's going to be a slow build until the actual resignation of Gary Gensler. Right now, this is just saying, hey, yes, you bought the house, you bought the car, whatever, blah, 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 but we'll ship it to you in 3 months. I mean, or I guess, yeah, a month now, a month and a half. We'll ship it to you in a month and a half. I mean, yeah, you bought it, it's yours, but it ain't here, right? If you get a date that comes by and they want to go out and drive in your car, that you can't do it. It is not here. There's a big difference between telling the person you're trying to take on the date, hey, I got this whatever whip. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. And they're like, all right, let's go. Well, I got to wait a month and a half. Well, I'm going to wait a month and a half to holler at you then, right? It's a big difference between saying that and giving that same call. I'm like, when are we going to do this? Like, we're going to do it right now. I got the car here. I got to get the money. We're going to do it tonight. We're gone. So right now, we'll still have a slow build up as far as price go. We don't know what the pump's going to look like on January 20th when Gary Gensler says, I officially resign, and all these news stations get to running like his career, right? When a flashback of his career, Gary Gensler, the whatever number chairman of the SEC, yeah, highlights, FTX, whatever. But the biggest highlights and the reason why I say the biggest, because you got to remember there will be money at play. And if XRP and Ripple is smart, which they are, the week that Gary Gensler is leaving, they are going to run a stupid media campaign of how their winning caused the SEC chairman to vacate, to resign, and blah, blah, blah. They are going to run story after story after story of how Ripple is a hero in this case, and the price will be pumping because people heard about it. They know it's coming, but the realization won't set in till that man is gone. On January 20th, when he is gone and they start running the reasons why, XRP is pumping. 18th, 19th, if anything, the 20th will be a sell-off day, to be fair. 20th might be a sell-off day, sell the news. But leading up to it is going to pump, I think. And then after he actually resigns, that's where it's going to get interesting. Does it dip? Do people say, forget about it, it happened? Or does Ripple, being the good business that it is, have new announcements on January 20th? Do they say, hey, but wait, there's more, right? Who knows? But one thing's for certain and two things for sure. That is enough time on RLUSD. All right, last but not least, let me go ahead and look at the price. Is it on here already? Okay, so it's on coin market cap, but they just have the information on it. They're not actually doing any charting and graphing on it, but it's a USD coin, so stable coin, so it's supposed to stay 1-to-1 regardless. All right, last but not least, Alex Mashinsky is in the news as he plans to plead guilty to two charges in plea deal. U.S. authorities charged the former Celsius CEO with 7 felony counts related to fraud and misleading users after reaching a non-prosecution agreement with the company in 2023. Now, before I look to see what his penalty will be, his punishment will be, one thing I want to say is, if you all remember, and this is fraud by Celsius. I want to be clear. Celsius actually did commit fraud. And I know this because a few months before I should have wore their shirt today if I would have known this was going to be a story. A few months before they went out of business, if you all remember, back at the big Bitcoin conference of 2020, 2021 or whatever, Celsius literally had the largest booth on the floor. It was huge. It was huge. They had like 10 people working the booth all day, every day. You know how much money that is? They have 10 or 15 people working around the clock every day trying to push sales. The biggest booth on the floor. Remember, this is crypto at this, and I remember this year was the biggest conference yet. I want to say the North American Bitcoin conference. I think it was like 42,000 people that year. So you have the biggest booth on the floor. I would say the price was good. Price of Bitcoin was good. Let's say per day it was at least a $15,000 spot where they at least, right? You got the biggest booth, you got the most people, you're doing the most business, blah, blah, blah. And within like 3 months, you go down, like you go out of business, you bankrupt and all these issues or whatever. I think it was about a 3-month thing, 3 to 5 months. It was like, you knew that was happening. Like, you knew that was happening. Now, granted, FTX and some other things happened at the same time, which of course will affect liquidity and all these backroom deals that we probably didn't know about. All of a sudden, the money's missing. But by and large, it's like you knew something was coming, and instead of hunkering down, you essentially started selling more. And I've seen this. It's unfortunate to say I've seen this with scammers in this space. I've seen this. I had to say it 2 times. I've seen this with scammers in the space. But you also see this on the traditional side when you're looking at scammers on the traditional side. Long story short, I told you I used to work medical mass torts, working with a lot of high power lawyers around the country who sue pharmaceutical companies. Well, for those who don't know, oftentimes when pharmaceutical companies lose these big class action lawsuits, Johnson & Johnson losing all their money to talcum powder and whatever, right? Do you see talcum powder off the shelves? No, because what they do is after they get these big class actions, they get sued for $100 million or whatever. Part of the terms is that, hey, can't nobody else sue us about this. So y'all need to go across America, get y'all money. Nobody else is going to be suing us about this. Courts and everybody agree. And then they put more money toward the marketing budget. You'll see more commercials with talcum powder. You see more commercials with IB. I forgot the other thing, the mesh thing or whatever that was causing me. I used to know all these different medical devices and procedures and things that people could do class actions for. But instead of companies, these pharmaceutical companies saying, hey, you got us, we released a bad product that gave you cancer or did X, Y, and Z and messed up your body. Instead of stopping this and taking it off the shelves, no, we ran the numbers. We're going to keep selling this, in fact, at a higher rate. We're going to run commercials on this thing since we can't be sued anymore. To me, that is what I saw happen with Alex Mashinsky and Celsius. They knew they were in some trouble, and instead of saying, hey, we should let the world know, they said, hit the gas, double down, baby. We about to get more and more and more until it's too late. That's my thoughts on it, kind of seeing how they were acting at the conference and then what came within months later. But again, this is former Celsius CEO Alex Mashinsky has reached a plea deal agreement with the U.S. prosecutors after his lawyers lost a bid to have charges in his criminal indictment dismissed in a December 3rd conference in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. Hey, Southern District of New York are the biggest gangsters in the country, boy. Oh, my goodness. Mashinsky said he will plead guilty to commodities fraud and a fraudulent scheme to manipulate the price of the Celsius token. The former Celsius CEO admitted to making false statements about the platform's earn program that encouraged investors to sell their Bitcoin, earning him an estimated $42 million in profit. I said that Celsius had approval from regulators, said Mashinsky, According to reporting from Intercity Press, it was false. I falsely said I was not selling my sell tokens. I accept full responsibility for my actions. Now, I'm sure he's going to get a sweet deal. But before we talk about that, I want to, hey, shout out to U.S. government for making him say these words, because so many people do not believe it when it comes to these founders and these CEOs that you all gangbang for. I'm looking at the Hexicans. I'm looking at even the Dogecoin folks now. I'm looking at the folks who love Cardano, the folks who love, I was just talking about, what was the one I was just talking about? The token that tricked Terra Luna, the Terra Luna. You got, you damn hair. You literally had, what's the old boy on one of the biggest Bitcoin, Mike Novogratz, came from Wall Street, got all the billionaires in Bitcoin talking crypto, and he gets a Terra Luna tattoo on him. Like, he got a Terra Luna tattoo on him, people, and he thinks like, and these are the people who think they're leading the community and know what they're talking about, who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. I want to point that out. Shout out to U.S. government for making him admit this and say this, because if not, people will be like, Celsius didn't mean to do this. Yes, not only did he mean to do it, others are doing the same thing. All these people are saying, hey, we're regulated by the government. We have approval from the regulators. All this is good. They're lying. They are lying. And honestly, I'll be real with you. I wish I had it in me to do the same thing, because clearly it works as far as getting the capital, right? And so far, no one's been punished. We'll see what his punishment is. But I wish I could stare at you with a straight face and give you a bold-faced lie and just collect the rewards. I wish I could. I can't. I'm too real for it. I can't even lie to myself half the time. I be talking too much. I keep it real. All right, but I wish I could, because that is what they're doing. And I'm, again, shout out to the U.S. for making him say this, because there's so many other project founders out here that's doing. You know what? I'll give you a big one. Coinbase. Coinbase went public. Hey, we're public. We're regulated. We can do this. We can do that. We're going to start a lending program. And the SEC came out of nowhere. Smack. Hold on. Ain't no lending program going down. Who told you that? In fact, who told y'all was regulated? Hey, what did the SEC say after Coinbase went public? We didn't say this was a green light for them to be regulatory approved or anything. We're just saying they're allowed to go public, right? They took their hands off that project quick after they got their money. This is like, to me, we're seeing the same thing with a lot of these project founders. They're doing the exact same thing. And they're saying, hey, we're regulated. We got regulators on our side. We got this, we got that. And they do not. They don't even have a handshake deal going on in the back. They're just saying that to you to sell it. And then to add insult to injury, he sold his token, something else you will see every project founder do, right? Litecoin, boom, sold. We're just talking about XRP. So who else? They always sell, all these founders sell at all-time high. And again, this is why I choose Bitcoin over all these altcoins so far, because every altcoin so far, the minute it does numbers, the people who believe in it the most and talk about it the most sell it. Bitcoin, the minute it does numbers, the people who love it and talk about it the most do not sell. They hold on to it. They say, no, this is for real valuable. For all these other altcoins, people sell the altcoins and then buy Bitcoin. Like they're telling you their project is trash, but people continue to believe in it and buy into it. The plea agreement, here we go. I'm about to mess with my microphone. Drum roll. The plea agreement allowed Mashinsky to plead guilty to only 2 charges out of the initial 7 filed by prosecutors in July. And this is what I don't get. The plea agreement, what are we pleading about? The money gone. He said one thing, he did another. Ain't no plea agreement. You better take this L, boy. The plea, like, especially for 2 of the 7 charges, what's going on? Filed by prosecutors in July of 2023 and forfeit $48 million in proceeds from the scheme. According to Judge Kotil, the former Celsius CEO could face up to 30 years if given the maximum sentence on both charges served consecutively. Yeah, he could, and that's if he doesn't have any of that $48 million left, but we know he had some capital. Following his guilty plea, Mashinsky was scheduled to sentence on April 8th. He initially pleaded not guilty to all the charges and has been free with some travel restrictions on a $40 million bond with a trial that has been expected to begin in January 2025. Oh, he is? Okay. Wait, I'm confused. Why does it say, wait, following his guilty plea? Am I reading this wrong? Following his plea, he was scheduled to be sentenced. He pleaded not guilty. With a trial. Why is there a trial there? I'm confused. I'm confused with what they mean. The plea agreement came roughly a month a day. That's why you can't mix industries. You got You got fintech, financial and technology people writing about the law. I'm like, wait. Am I reading this wrong? Because he got a plea agreement and a trial that's happening. I don't know. I might be reading it wrong. You let me know in the comments, but this doesn't make sense to me. There isn't a trial for those. Yeah, there is not a trial if you have the plea. So I'm not understanding what they mean. Maybe like the court date to go over it. I don't know. But the plea agreement came roughly a month after Mashinsky's lawyers lost a motion to dismiss the two charges to which the former CEO pleaded guilty. Judge Koto said in November that the legal team's arguments were either moot or without merit, setting the grounds for the January criminal trial to move forward. So I'm assuming they turned down the plea deal. Like I'm assuming they are offered a plea and he turned it down. That's what it sounds like. In order for them to go to trial, I don't know. We'll see exactly what's happening, what's going on. Like I said, this is why you're not supposed to be reading about legal stuff on a fintech site. But I digress. They're talking about the ex-crypto exec could join colleagues in prison. Oh, what? Listen, that crypto card about to be a beast in the prison. All right. Hey, I'm letting all them DC folks know, all the California people, everybody who go to prison all the time, letting y'all know the crypto gang is coming through deep. Like, shout out to this article that pointed out, talking about he's gonna be with his friends in there. Look, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's won't be so lonely in prison if you in the crypto here in the next year or two. Them shits is about to be filled up. I told y'all some gangster stuff going on in this space. Y'all didn't want to believe me, right? Who've been telling you for years? I said behind the scenes, folks, it's some real gangster stuff going on. You want to know what's even more gangster, which you're not reading about and what you haven't been reading about? Are some of the people involved in projects like Celsius. You mean to tell me Celsius got all this money and there was no illegal funds in there? There was no gangsters who put their money in that Celsius project as well? I'm here to tell you folks the truth about some things behind the scenes, all right? I'm here to tell you the truth. What would make a founder feel empowered enough to lie about having regulation and lie about how he's selling his tokens and everything else if they aren't already dealing in the muddy pool, okay? They're already dealing in muddy waters. That's why they're feeling so confident sometimes to say, hey, I can do it too. Because they're like, hey, I'm some of the people I'm working with. All right. This is fact, not fiction. But this is crazy in general. Alex Mashinsky looks like, I'm assuming he turned down his plea deal and they kind of wrote this wrong. But regardless, this is going down in January. It looks like there may be a trial. But see, I'm still reading this. They're saying, I don't know, maybe a trial. He may have a plea agreement. I don't know, but we'll see. But one thing was certain, two things were sure, is that January he's going to get his sentencing. I'll say if he has his house in order, if he has his money, then it shouldn't be too bad. He'll pay them some money, 2 years, go link up with Sam Bankman-Fried, create the new plan for the new token, come out, launch a new product. Sam Bankman-Fried gets out a few years later. He's the co-founder all of a sudden. Rinse, wash, repeat. New generation of people saying you're just mad because SBF does this and that. Oh man, FTX, that was like 8 years ago, man. Come on, you don't know what you're talking about. And the Shogun team. By then, I should be on episode 3,224. Saying, you remember back in I think it was episode 1,260. I was saying XYZ. Like the show goes on. It is what it is. I went over again, but smash that like and share. Hilarious. P. Diddy unstable coin coming in prison this year, 2025. I thought that was hilarious. Smash that like and share, and I will see you all with some more crypto news. Cheers. Dub Proof. What up, though?